here for our first lap at Azerbaijan here in Q1, and as you can see in the bottom right, lots of wear on all of the compartments in that engine, and I've thought about replacing it. I didn't want the grid penalty, but the more that I think about it, maybe I should replace it though, because then, you know, we have a less percentage chance. I mean, that ICE is almost 90%, and if we were to replace that, that would help us out a lot, because then we don't have to worry so much about it ruining us in the race. But, I mean, we're going to take a 5-10 place grid penalty. We'll see how quali goes. If it's a good quali, I may risk it. If it's a bad one, then we won't care anyways. But we're on a decent lap already. A little bit of a wall touch there. We'll be aight. See what we can do here. The fastest lap right now is a 1:39. We'll see what we can do. 1:39.2. I don't think we're going to get there that quickly. No, it's actually a really slow lap for us. It's a 1:42. All the way behind everybody. Not a very good lap overall for us. So we're going to end up doing a ICE change here to the second one, just to try to help us out a little bit. It's a 9-minute repair time, so we have to skip forward until we're ready to go out on track again. 50 seconds left. You can see it was not a good lap at all. We were a full 1.5 seconds off of the pace. That's pretty bad. We're going to go out on new tires here as soon as this gets done. The race looking like we might have some rain though, so it'll be a little interesting as we're going to head out for our flying lap. So guys, as I come around to this lap, I just back out of it. We have a 22 place grid penalty for replacing it, so it ain't worth going through the risk of wrecking the car or anything. We'll be starting from the back of the grid, try to make our way up here at Azerbaijan. May even think about replacing everything just because, you know, why not at this point. But I will see you when we get to the race.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
Ooh, so I'm not going to go Pierre Gasly, even though he's been back, and we have fought him in that second episode in Bahrain. Fernando Alonso would be interesting, but I'm going to say Yuki Tsunoda. I'm going to go easy on it here at first. Just take Yuki.
How's your grid penalty going to affect your strategy going into the race?
It's a spanner in the works. It doesn't really matter too much.
Your teammate beat you today. Was it a setup issue or something else?
Yeah, just the setup made better issue. I mean,
You
it was
won't be
just
starting at the
because
front of the pack. Are you worried?
it's just because we switched it up, and I didn't want to take another one there. No, we'll have to make the best of it.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Great. We'll be starting from P22 with all the grid penalties. I did replace every part, so with the penalty already, I just went through and just replaced everything. It's a sucky qualifying, but you know, who can ask of much? We're a starting out team, the durability isn't great, and Yuki, of course, already out-qualifies us, so that's nice to know that we're already losing in that aspect of it, but let's head to the race. Crofty will get you into it.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A fourth row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. It's 3.7 miles around a lap of Baku City Circuit then, with 7 rights and 13 lefts, giving us a total of 20 corners. Watch out for the safety car today. Incidents are already common on this circuit, and the wet conditions will only make things worse, particularly through the incredibly narrow turn 8. Now, Anthony, it's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Ricciardo, Norris, Max Verstappen and Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Vettel and Pierre Gasly, Stroll, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi and George Russell, Ireland, Latifi, Mazepin and the owner driver, And with preparations almost complete, let's head down.
Take a big grid penalty, but gonna be starting on inters here. The rain doesn't look to pick up too much. We're gonna do 14.5 laps of extra fuel, and let's see what we can do on this opening lap, because it's gonna be huge for us. As you can see, we got one of the parts didn't come through in time. 5 red lights, and away we go. Trying to get through the gears, we lose it a little bit sideways here. Let's just try to get something out of this start. We're gonna slide it down into the first corner here, not get on the gas too early and lose it, as we almost did actually. We jump up to P20, which isn't too great, but we're gonna dive. We dive bomb and get a lot of positions here next to Callum Islet. Down the straight. Into the next corner, we're going deep into it. Latifi is there. We try to stay off of him. We jump to P17 off of the start. Yeah, we collided with Latifi a little bit, but we jumped to P17. Latifi, we're gonna go around him, or at least try to, in the Williams. Very easy on the gas, not sticking it too hard down to the ground. Maybe we should have went Alonso. Alonso's right up here. Very hard gonna be to get some grip on this track. We get right up next to Russell. And we're gonna go down a little straight here into the last corners before the chicane through the castle section. Russell coming up really quickly here. P16 it is for us. We almost lose the back end. And now this part's going to be very fun. I have enough trouble with it already. We get through there, just absolutely no grip on the tires through that section. I don't know if that's just me. We're holding up a long line of cars, so we'll see if we can get out in front a little ways of these guys. We go very close to the wall. Might even touch it just a little bit. Car just seems to be a little slow compared to everybody else. I mean, look at the line of cars behind us. We'll see if we can do this rest of the lap. So here, a couple of laps later, we've gotten pretty close to George Russell. We go for the big dive on him down through the castle. We make the move past the Williams of George Russell and move us up into P15 here on lap 3. Conditions have gotten, well, I'd say about the same. Some sections have been fast, and then there's others where the tires seem like they don't stick. As you can see, after we got past the Williams, we kind of slide it down through that corner. As there, we make it through pretty clean. This doesn't usually stick very well. Lift a little bit, get down, slide out the rear end, and then just try to keep going. Alonso's pulled almost 4 seconds ahead of us, so we're going to try to catch him, and catch you up if we get anything interesting happening. Do a little driver standings update here for you. Lewis in the lead with Max, and then Valtteri with Lando, Danny Ricciardo, Checo, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Seb round after top 10 with Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, then it's me who has just battled Russell. Latifi follows him with Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Callum Islet, and Nikita Mazepin rounds out the full lineup. George Russell is out of the session. He just DNF'd.
This light rain is going to be with us for a while now.
I don't know what just happened. Just all of a sudden there were yellow flags behind me, and George Russell's out. He had some kind of engine failure or something. So now that held up everybody behind us. So now we're really just in a gap of nothingness. Alonso's about 4.5 ahead, and Latifi's about 4.5 behind me.
The tyre situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
I agree, Carl. We're just going to stick on these inters. I don't think we'll catch Alonso. We'll just make sure we stay ahead of Latifi. I don't think anybody will box, because it's not really needed. It looks like it's going to be a boring one, except for that pass on George Russell. And the start of the race was good, but P15 looks about the place we're going to stay. Just hopefully our engine doesn't blow up. And I say that sarcastically, but if you look there in the bottom right, we replaced most of those, just the MGUK. Still, it didn't come through before the race, so we got that to worry about, but I'll let you know if anything happens. We pulled it to about 5 seconds now on Latifi, so yeah, I'll let you know.
This is your final lap of the race.
So yep, final lap here. As you can see, you know, I had Alonso at about 6 seconds, I had Latifi at about 6 seconds, and then slowly, Alonso pulled away from me, but then I pulled away from Latifi a little bit more, so it didn't make sense there. Alonso's just faster. He's getting a pull from Stroll and Ocon in front of him. But then I started losing a little bit of grip on the tires. The rain came down a little bit heavier. Then it went away now. And it was questionable. People were thinking about maybe switching over to softs. But I think everybody stayed out on inters. It ended up being the right decision. But, 15th. A lot better than, the race we shall not talk about, Monaco. Yeah, we don't talk about that. But, we're just...
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Finishing this out without breaking wings or losing the components, as I'll let you look at that now. 70% on the MG UK. Nothing else. Wow. Just because I'm talking to you guys means I should wreck, right? Yeah. Lewis Hamilton, congrats, he wins it. Didn't look like no damage to the car, just tires starting to wear out a little bit. I mean, we went the whole race on these inters. So that's another thing, just the tires losing grip. Me just slipping around the place a little bit, not being great at the game anyways. Plus, the difficulty still at 90, which is about the highest I've ever raced on, and that may be like a wimp thing to you guys, but that's pretty good for me. 90 is very high difficulty, and yeah, you can see the car doesn't even go flat out through that section. I mean, that's how messed up it is. But we're gonna come home in a P15, which is a lot better than last weekend, where we didn't even finish the race. Thanks Callum, a lot. Thanks myself. Yeah, 15th.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
We're just going to try to get better coming up to the next race, which I believe is like Austria or Canada, but we do get driver of the day, because we, started dead last this race, so I guess you look at that, we moved up 7 spots.
Another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes.
Gotta give it to him, it's the Mercs. They're fighting, but Valtteri's actually in the lead, but Lewis wins it. Yep.
Once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Lewis, I don't think he'll take the driver's standings lead, but yeah, that's gonna do it for us here in episode 5 of My Team.
Let's have a quick look at how the driver's standings have changed. Not the result our points leader wanted, but it certainly makes things interesting going forward. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I'm going to give it to the owner driver today. They did a great job at getting the most out of their tyres without losing pace, something that's a very handy skill to have in modern day Formula 1.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula 1. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So you can see the driver standings here. Lewis moves up to 2nd. Checo drops all the way to 4. McLaren's looking decent. Here is the Constructors. Hopefully we can get some points in. Just finish this season out, keep getting upgrades. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.